Hi friends, check out my shirt. It's so cute. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Sustainable Talks with Maria J. It's definitely been a while since I've uploaded any videos, mainly because my laptop died and it made me lose motivation, but I'm temporarily using my high school laptop, which miraculously still works, even though it's been for about 11 years now, and it's still working. A bit slow, but still good. But in the meantime, I'm just waiting for my new laptop to arrive. So yeah, I decided today that we could talk a little bit about food waste, namely because I think it's a really important thing to think about given the crisis that we're currently in, aka Rona, aka COVID-19. A lot of people have been panic buying recently, buying toilet paper for God knows what reason. Stupid if you ask me. And obviously panic buying when it comes to food, mostly buying, I guess, long life food, those stored in cans or dry food like pasta, rice, whatnot. And obviously, of course, fresh food as well to nourish ourselves. And I guess when people are stock buying a lot of food, especially if it's fresh produce, they might end up throwing a lot of it out if they don't eat it in time, or if they forget about it, or you know, shit happens and people forget. Yeah, food waste can become quite a serious problem in a time like this, which isn't fair for other people, because there are people who actually can't get stuff off the shelves because everyone else is buying it out. So I would like to ask that we all be considerate at the moment. Buy only what you need and don't be a hoarder, because nobody's gonna like you. So I just wanted to quickly run over some stats, some food waste stats that I've got off the FoodWise website. The research that they've done, they found that 20% of purchased food actually ends up being discarded. So that's 1 in 5 shopping bags that you buy at the supermarket gets thrown out. Furthermore, about 40% of your garbage bin is consisted of food waste. So, you know, veggie scraps, meat bones, meat scraps, food that's gone off, milk that's gone off, or other dairy products. So that's almost half of your bin that's consisted of some sort of food. And this is equivalent to over $1,000 every year being tossed out in your bin. That's a lot. $1,000. That could be a really nice holiday after this pandemic, you know, $1,000. So about each year, $8 billion worth of food is thrown out in the bin in Australia, and that's about 4 million tons every year that gets thrown out. Food. 4 million tons of food that gets thrown out every year. Not necessarily just in households, but in all aspects of the supply chain. So why is so much food wasted? Most of the times it's because A, we cook too much, we don't store it correctly, and then it gets thrown out. So for example, I do meal prep once, sometimes twice a week, and I make enough food that will fill up 2 large containers. My second large container will go in the freezer, whereas the first container I'll eat for the first like 3 or so days. And then midweek I might do a meal prep of something else, so that way I have a bit of variety of food throughout the week. But sometimes I will admit I do forget about the food that's in the freezer for a week or so. But if I don't freeze that second lunchbox, generally by the end of the first week, coming towards the second week, it kind of does get a bit funky depending on what I'm making. So that's number 1, cooked too much food. Number 2 is don't know how to use leftovers. So sometimes you might make a roast chicken, but the next day you're like, what do I do with it? I don't know. A lot of people use roast chicken as an example. They turn it into salads, they turn it into like a second sort of dish by adding different veggies and trying to mix it up. But some people don't do that and they end up just throwing it out because they don't want to eat it anymore, which I find A, disrespectful to the animal, B, disrespectful to the farmers, and C, disrespectful to Mother Earth. So another reason why people waste so much food is because they buy takeaway food when they have food at home. I do this sometimes where, you know I have food at home, but I'm not really feeling it. I don't really want that food at home. I want something delicious right now. So I end up buying takeaway. And people generally throw out the food because they forget it's in the fridge, they keep eating out or whatnot, and by the time they remember, the food's gone funky. And the last reason as well is people buy too much when they go grocery shopping because they don't check what's at home. I'm a culprit of this. Sometimes I forget I have carrots in the fridge and I go buy a new bag of carrots, and then I get home and I'm like, oh shit, I have carrots already. Why did I buy another bag of carrots? So before you go shop, make your shopping list and stick to it. So that way you know what you have in your fridge or in your pantry, and you don't end up buying too much of the same ingredient. Because I mean, who wants to be eating carrots all day, every day? Except for bunny rabbits, I guess. Yeah, that's some reasons why food waste occurs. And the outcome of that is food that rots in landfill ends up becoming methane gas. And as we all know, methane gas contributes to global warming and greenhouse gases. It's 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Think about that. That's why the earth is warming up so fucking much, isn't it? And obviously you don't forget your hidden impacts or your indirect impacts. So it's essentially a waste of resources. Every time you throw out your veggies, every time you throw out that piece of ham, you're throwing away unaccounted quantities of water that was used to grow that produce, fertilizer of food that was used to feed that produce. You're throwing away hours of labor that the farmers put in to grow that produce. You're throwing away petrol that was used in the trucks to transport that produce from the farm to your table. You're throwing away your time that you spent in the grocery shop buying that produce, and obviously you're throwing away your money that you spent to buy that produce. So there's a bunch of hidden impacts and things that we don't think about when we throw out a meal every time. And not to mention at the storefront, in the store level, 20 to 40% of produce is rejected because they don't meet cosmetic standards. So, you know, the bananas are too big, the bananas are too small, the vegetables are too ugly, they don't have the right shape, they don't have the right color. All of that gets thrown out because supermarkets say that consumers have an expected cosmetic appearance that we want when we buy our produce. So that's why supermarkets reject those produce. But as you might be aware now, Woolworths has the Odd Bunch range and Coles now has the I'm Perfect range. And that's what I generally stick to buying when I do my grocery shops, because to be honest, at the end of the day, they all taste the same. Who cares what it looks like when it becomes mush in your stomach? I mean, as long as it provides the nutrients that you need, I don't see a problem. So, just giving you those facts there to absorb into your mind. But I decided to do a bit of a different thing and bake a cake for you guys. So basically I purchased some grapes in the discounted section of a grocer. I think it was like $3 for a tray of grapes, which I thought bargain, and they were a bit going off, and I was like, perfect, it's been a while since I baked a grape cake. So that's what I decided to do. But I also forgot that I bought passion fruit to make myself passion fruit juice and passion fruit infused water. And when I checked on them, the exterior was getting a little bit moldy, but the inside was still fine. So I decided to make 2 types of cakes. If you want to find out how I did it, keep watching. Okay, so this is basically going to be an upside down passion fruit pound cake. So I've already got a buttery passion fruit mixture in there, dry ingredients in there, and now I'm just going to put everything together. Grapes, these are perfect for old grapes that are a bit like, you know, starting to get a bit squishy and soft, a little bit brown. If they've got mold in it, just cut it off. And basically we're just going to put this in there. So I've lightly buttered this tin and put a bit of flour in there. Generally I don't put flour, but because it's got fruit going on the base, the flour makes it extra non-stick. I've also left the stems on some of the grapes because I just sieves picking them all off. But basically once you bake it, it's gonna literally dissolve in the mix anyway, so it's not a problem. This recipe is great for any fruit that you kind of have that might be past its nice state, I suppose. So soft grapes. I've decided to use the passion fruit because my passion fruit over here have got an extra moldy. So the recipe called for 2, but I decided, heck, I have so much passion fruit, put 3 in there. Now basically just shake this out so all the grapes make one nice layer. Basically you want to try fill out the gaps as much as you can. So I might just grab an extra couple grapes to fill out the sides here. Great. Now I'm going to combine my wet and dry ingredients together. Make a bit of the well. I'm going to pour in half at a time. When I bake, I seriously like to clean everything out to the point where like it seems like I licked the bowl clean. I don't believe in like leaving half bowls of ingredients on it still, because I think it's a waste. Like I see it on cooking shows, like I generally hope that they scrape the bowls clean, but I highly doubt it when they cook on cooking shows. Like they have no time. But like you want to get every last drop if possible. Because like you can't smell it right now, but oh, the passion fruit is intense. I will link the recipes that I followed today, but just note that I have made my own adjustments. So for example, the recipe called for 2 passion fruits and I put in 3. So just keep that in mind. It's a bit more dry than I was hoping for, so I might add a bit of milk just to moisten it. Just a bit of soy milk. Just a splash. I think generally people use dairy milk, but I'm in the process of drinking soy milk at the moment, so yeah, a bit more wet. That's how I like it. Hope you guys can see a bit of a difference in the dough already just by adding that splash of milk. I mean, you don't have to add milk, you could add water. I would say this is a bit too thick for my liking because like it just plops off the spatula. This is my first time making passion fruit cake, so we'll see how it turns out, I guess. Okay, I'm just gonna try spread this out. Obviously wash your hands before doing this. I wash my hands frequently between things because as you can see this is quite icky. Okay. Now eating. So there we have it, guys. Passion fruit cake is all done. And here I have an earlier baked grape cake. It's meant to be an upside down cake, but I guess because it's risen like so, it can be an upright grape cake. Okay, it's been about 2 hours since I pulled these babies out of the oven. Let's try flip this passion fruit cake. And there we have it. Fruit cake. When your fruit's going bad, but you don't want to throw it out, and it's still somewhat edible, you make yourself some fruit. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and boil some water and have some tea. I hope you guys enjoyed that little spiel cooking show. And you know, this time that we're spending indoors, like we're spending so much time indoors, I think it's really great to reconnect with our hobbies. Being adults, like you kind of lose touch with your hobbies or things that you wanted to do when you were younger. So I've been like baking a lot more, trying to get my craft back on. Oh, definitely gardening a lot more. I've got a lot of produce growing at the moment, so I'm quite excited to see how they fruit. But yeah, I hope you guys use this time in social isolation and social distancing wisely. Don't sleep all day because you're gonna feel shit. And I don't know, put this time towards personal growth, because I mean, you're not gonna get this time back, because once COVID's over, it's back to usual, back to work, and you're gonna be like, fuck. So use this time wisely and enjoy it. I know it's hard. I'm finding it really hard not seeing my friends weekly, or like, you know, have going out for coffee dates and like brunch dates. But at the same time, I'm appreciating this moment to do things that I want to do, and also appreciating this moment because I don't have to spend so much money. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you guys can get all the latest videos coming out. given the situation, I am now working from home, so I do have a lot of time on my hands, so I will try and make more videos. If you guys want to see more videos about stuff to do during quarantine and social distancing, let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys stay safe, wash your hands, and keep in touch with your friends and family, and stay indoors. If you see people going out and they're not practicing social distancing, literally just yell at them and be like, COVID-19, because they're freaking stupid, and we just need to flatten this curve so life can go back to normal. Although, what is even normal now, right? I think the new normal would definitely be different, and our values would have definitely shifted, which I'm trying not to get into right now. I'll leave it for the next video, but I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.